So in today's video, welcome to my channel or welcome back. Gina Jamesi here, your favorite psych nurse practitioner. We're on the streets, internet street. I make it okay for you to not be okay, and I help you minimize should I go, should I stay, should I go, should I stay in the high conflict, narcissistic, toxic, abusive, that type of relationship. Get out of it, heal, elevate, so you can live the best version of your life and attract the partner that you actually like to have that aligns with you. We're going to talk about casting spells. Have you had the experience? Have you heard? Do you know anyone? Is that downright dangerous or what? The things people will do, how low people will go to just to be in a relationship. Let's get right into it. Okay, bye.
I want another love spell story because I'm on a roll today. Somebody just submitted this one to me and this one is good. I can't believe you guys are this unhinged. Let's get into the story time. This one is T. We're gonna call this guy Andre. Andre was the one who submitted this story to me, and Andre's Jamaican. So Andre was in a relationship with this girl and they had a very tumultuous relationship. That means for whatever reason the relationship was always toxic. It seemed like they were always getting together and breaking up, getting together and breaking up. Until one day Andre was like, I really cannot take this no more. I really want out of this relationship. I want nothing to do with this. He said that a couple months went by, and one day he just felt the urge to just get back together with the girl. So he did. He said that he would later find out that this girl was into some dark shit. Unbeknownst to him, this girl had other plans. She was tired of the back and forth. So after they got back together, Andre said that they always had like a super close best friend relationship where they could tell each other anything. So one day, as a joke, she winds up saying something along the lines of, you know, for a second there, I was scared. I didn't think my stuff was working. I didn't think it worked. I didn't think I was gonna get you back. So then Andre asked her, like, what do you mean by that? And she said, as a joke, what if I did obia on you and that's why you're here? As a joke, though. They both laughed about it and moved on. He also mentioned that upon them getting back together, she was really, really pushy in terms of sex. He said that he was never the type of dude to run a red light, okay? But one day, during that time of the month for his girl, she really wanted to do it. And she convinced him, and they did it. Keep in mind that this girl had already met Andre's parents, and Andre mentioned that his mother never liked his girlfriend. But you know, Jamaican parents are hard to please. One day, the mom came up to him and said, son, I had a dream. Like, I really don't like that girl, you know? I had a dream that your grandmother came to me and told me that she was working obia on you. Do what you want with that information, but I don't think you should stay with her. Andre is a spiritual dude. Andre's a spiritual dude, but he's like, obia? I don't know. So he decides to go home and he sat his girlfriend down and started by saying, I know what you've been doing to me, just to see if she would say anything. He said that my mother came up to me and said that she had a dream and went on to tell her what the mother's dream was. And he said, well, does that sound familiar? And homegirl would say, okay, so now here's the tea. She said during one of their back and forth, she said that, well, she read somewhere that blood is a very powerful ingredient to binding. And mirrors are also very powerful magic tools. So she thought, why don't I just combine both? She said that one day she missed him so much that she wrote his name in blood in the mirror, and she stood in front of it and summoned him. She was also saying affirmation like, you're obsessed with me, you want me, you love me, you can't leave me alone. She said she didn't think it would work because she had only did it once and it took him a while to get to her, to get back together with her. And she also brought up that time that they did it while she was on her. He said he was utterly disgusted that she would even do something like that. He said he left. He said he did a cleanse on one of the beaches. He wore all white and then walked into the water, dunked his head to try to cleanse himself and get rid of her energy or her spirit around. Well, he successfully stayed away from her. But she, on the other hand, cannot leave that man alone. He says that this girl is literally obsessed with him, like showing up to his house, obsessed with him, get cussed out by his family and still comes back because she wants the man that bad. She told him that if he doesn't get back together with her, that she will unalive herself. And she attempted. Her family found her, took her to the hospital. And when she came back home from the hospital, guess who was the first person she went to go see? Andre. And Andre says that it's gotten to the point where she done fought his mama. It's gotten to the point where she done fought his mama, his sister, his cousin. She done got jumped. And that girl don't care. She want that man. He says that she doesn't present as a physical threat to him, but he's definitely afraid for the ladies around him because she has also showed up to his dates, sat on top of his car, and refused to get off the car because he was with another woman. And yeah, now he's thinking about moving because he cannot get rid of her. And the craziest thing is he didn't do nothing. She was trying to get him to be obsessed with her, but some way, somehow, I never heard this before, but a Uno reverse happened and she winded up being the obsessed one. Golly, that was a good one. Thank you, Andre. I really do wish you the best. If you guys wish to submit your stories, be sure to submit them at submitalienstories@gmail.com. And if they're really interesting, then I'll tell them. I have so many more story times available on my YouTube channel, so make sure you guys go on over and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you scroll up to the top of my TikTok page, you see where it says Instagram. If you click on that, both my Instagram link and YouTube link will pop up. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and go follow me on Instagram since they are banning this app September 9th, 2024. Thank you, abducted aliens. Please, guys, do better.
So here's my 2 cents on the topic of casting love spells in order to get a man, in order to keep a man, in order to get an ex back. Like, instead of all that, how about you consider this point instead? Dysentery man absolutely doesn't mean hating man. And as a matter of fact, we love our man, but you want to attract a man that aligns with your values. Alignment. Forget love, the feelings, the butterfly, the spark. Just the beginning. But do you align in values? Are you equally yoked? Not just in belief system regarding religion, but alignment in how you think. Alignment in education level, in how you communicate, even how you self-care. You love to travel, you love to go hiking, you love to be outside. Sometimes it can work when one person is overly maybe or more extroverted and the other person is reserved, opposite attract. But at least a few core values, at least 4 or 5, if not more, should align. Financial management alignment, being able to resolve conflict alignment. What does love mean to you and to them? Alignment. What are their love languages and your love language? Alignment. Do they see you respect you or vice versa? Alignment. Are you joyful within you, or this person constantly triggering your childhood trauma, your crappy childhood? Are their trauma and your trauma able to carry together? Or are your traumas so big for each other that it just doesn't align? So those are all the things to consider, and pull yourself back, decenter, focus on yourself, your body, your business, your boundaries. Go to the gym, work out, drink water, eat food, get your protein intake, get your fiber, get your health checks in, get your vitals checked, doctor's appointment, all that, dentist appointment, do that. Take care of your skin, your nails, your hair. All that is part of it. Take care of your finances, your education, going back to school, traveling, finding community, good friendship, finding a hobby, go to a dance class, go to events. See, and all those things, when you love those things, like say you like book clubbing or hiking or salsa dancing or horseback riding, whatever, swimming, podcasting, start a podcast, for God's sake, start a YouTube channel, start vlogging, travel, find girlfriends that you find love on rather than the opposite sex, which is great. That is your goal. But healing from a breakup can be an opportunity rather than a painful place where you're so desperate you have to go get a love spell. You see how I'm saying it? So instead of that, because those things can become super duper dangerous, downright dangerous, people get unalive, just like in some of the stitches that I'm going to put here. But people literally are engaging in this. Even people within the church are going behind the scenes, casting spells on their man or potential man because they are having limerence. They want this life because they have this fantasy in their heads and they can or are not unwilling to fulfill their own needs. External needs are great, looking good is great, but how does it feel like in the inside of you? Are you able to sit with yourself? Are you able to take a weekend where you're reading a book or listening to podcasts, cleaning your house, or having somebody help you clean your house? You like organization. You're cleaning your car. You know how many women, their car is so filthy dirty? Closet, underwear drawer is all filthy dirty. Spend that time doing that for yourself. So with that, you build confidence, self-worth, loving on yourself, your spirituality, connecting with God, with a higher power, sitting in faith and hope. You know what I mean? That work is in inside. Don't run into a pastor to like, pray for me, help me. When you have that agency within yourself and you know the world is abundant and you can do all that work, you don't need to chase or go finding a spell to cast on them. What do you think? Okay, bye.
Casting spells gone wrong. Practicing and working spells that go wrong. Y'all have to be careful which books you pick up and read, which spell books. Some of these spell books have your life twisted, turned, and completely fucked up. I'm going to give y'all a story time about someone that I know very closely that wanted to start practicing magic. Now, of course, I offered to help them, to teach them, to guide them. But they were kind of, big-headed and just wanted to learn on their own. So I threw my hands up and said, okay, go ahead, go for it. It's very interesting. It's fascinating. So, of course, I practice voodoo. And they said, well, I don't think I want to practice voodoo. I think I'd rather do hoodoo. So I say, okay, sounds great. Go ahead and start your studying and let me know what you learn. So they start studying hoodoo and they're doing all these spells. And I said, where'd you learn these spells? Where'd you find these spells? They said, oh, I found a book online. This book is interesting, girl. This shit is good in here. This shit works. I said, oh, okay. That's what's up. So time goes on and they're practicing these spells. They're working these spells they found. So I noticed this person starts like losing everything in their life. Like they lost their job. It started with them losing their job. And then after that, I noticed, they lost their apartment. And then they lost their husband. Their husband and them had broken up. And he was cheating around and doing different things. And one day I talked to him. I said, look, I don't know. Something ain't right. You done lost 3 things. You about to lose your car? Are you sure these spells that you working are right? I said, you got to be careful what books you read. Tell me what you did. I said, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to do a reading for you. So we got on the phone. I'm doing the reading. And the spirits are telling me it's something that this person's doing with the spirit that's causing all these things to happen. So they're literally causing all these things. The loss of the job, they caused it. The loss of the car, they caused it. The battle or the fight between the husband, that caused it. I said, tell me what you doing in these spells. Tell me what this spell book is telling you to do. She said, well, the spell book told me to get an orange, slice it in half, pour honey in it, write a handwritten letter, stick it in the orange, put some cinnamon on it, close it back up, and then pray over it and wish all the bad things in my life would go away. Everything bad would just go away. So I did it, she said, and I took it and I threw it out of my front door and I threw it out. And when I threw it out, I threw away all my problems and I threw away everything that was in my way in my life. I said, oh. Okay, I'm sorry. So I told her, I said, Well, you gotta look at it like this. Ever since you did that spell, you didn't lost your job because they accused you of stealing. You didn't lost your place to live. You about to lose your car and you lost your husband. I said, you need to get rid of that damn book. Quit reading that damn book. All spells are not created equal. All spells are not great spells. Some people just write books and put things together, and it doesn't always work. It doesn't always add up for you to be able to manifest change in your life with it. And another thing, when somebody gives you a spell or a recipe, make sure you follow instructions 1000%. Don't leave out anything. Don't put anything extra in until you practice that spell a long, long time. However, it does take practice. It takes practice, trial, and error to perfect your spell work. Right now, I don't read any type of spell books. Nothing like that. When I first started practicing, I used to read many different spell books. Right now, all I do is I put my spell work together according to what Spirit has revealed to me. My spirits give me all my spell work. Every spell that I do now comes from my spirits that I work with. Those are the secrets that they've given me, and that's why I don't share those. However, I do share some spell work with the students that take my class. Some things, that I can share. I share with them. But, I used to teach this young man spell work and magic. And he's like a student, right? So he was manifesting the silliest shit. He would manifest getting free weed and free things and free this and free that. And so I noticed, I said, you getting all this shit. I said, how much you pay for that? Nothing, it was free. How much you pay for that? Nothing, they just gave it to me. My friend gave me $1,000 last week. I said, okay. Now, I said, how much you pay for this? They gave it to me. I said, dude, quit using spell work to get free shit everywhere you go. Quit doing spell work for people to just give you shit everywhere you go. And he said, well, and that shit was funny. You can use spell work for a lot of different things. And the way I choose my students is I don't want to give it to somebody who's just going to go out and hurt a bunch of people. Now, getting shit for free, that doesn't hurt many people. It doesn't hurt anyone. It's just basically, increases the generosity of the people that you deal with. For me, I feel like that's pretty much harmless. But yeah, that's just a crazy spell work story time. Y'all, all of these spells that y'all read in these books online, some of the spells that you get, especially online from just like different random people that haven't been practicing for a very long time, be careful trying this work. Because I've heard a lot of these people give you spells and I'm listening to it like, I don't think that's the right way you put that together. Well, I don't really think that's going to work. But that whole orange with the honey and the cinnamon and throwing it out and then losing every fucking thing. I mean, I hate to laugh at it because we all have fucked up somewhere along the line doing our own spell work. All of us have made mistakes and hit the wrong target or shit just bounced back to hit us. All of us have made mistakes in our spirituality journeys. But I'm just telling you guys, be very careful and aware of whose advice you take doing spell work. It's all trial and error. After all, magic is wonderful. It's exciting. It's adventurous, but it can also be fearful. It can also be scary. So I hope you guys have a wonderful time out there practicing magic. All my witchy guys and gals, have a wonderful day.
These are the consequences of doing a love spell on a person. I came across the story on here. It was actually in Spanish, so I'm gonna go ahead and translate it to English, and I'll tag the original creator down here. So Gloria has been practicing witchcraft for the past 5 years, so much so that she has become very well known around her neighborhood and she has a ton of clients. One day she was having a birthday party at her house, so she invited a bunch of her friends and a bunch of her close neighbors. When she sees a girl that she didn't recognize enter her home, she assumed that this was probably one of her friends who had invited another friend. The girl goes up to her, introduces herself as Peggy, and tells Gloria that she needs her help, that she has fallen madly in love with this man that wants absolutely nothing to do with her. Gloria advised her against it and told her about all the consequences that come from love spells, that you can't mess with someone's free will. Peggy said that she didn't care, that whatever the consequences were, that she was willing to deal with it. The next day, Peggy went to Gloria's house and Peggy handed her a jar. In this jar, there was this white powder. Peggy told her to take a very small amount out of the jar and to add it to one of his alcoholic drinks. And to also do it on a Friday, because apparently Fridays are the most strongest days to do this stuff. That Friday, Peggy ended up having a huge party at her house where she invited just about everyone, including the boy and Gloria. As the party was going, everybody was dancing, singing, having a great time. Peggy starts getting a bunch of drinks ready for her friends. Gloria notices that Peggy takes one of the drinks and puts it to the side. She then opens the jar that she had in her pocket and she dumps all of the powder in the drink. Gloria right away runs over to Peggy and tells her, "That is too much. I told you to only give him a small amount. You have no idea the consequences that this is gonna create." Peggy then snaps at Gloria and tells her to mind her business, that this had nothing to do with her, that she already paid her for her work, and that whatever happens now, to just back off. Gloria pretty much wiped her hands clean and left it at that. The minute this guy took a sip of the drink, it was almost out of a movie scene. He became completely head over heels in love with Peggy and could not keep his hands off of her. The whole night they were just making out and all over each other. A few weeks go by and Peggy gives Gloria a call and tells her, "Hey, what you gave me worked amazing, but I no longer want to be with him. He has become way too obsessive, very toxico, to the point that he's even jealous of my own brothers. I wanted him, but not like this. I no longer want to be with him." Gloria told her there's nothing that she can do about it, that when she tried to interfere, that she had told her to mind her business, so that's exactly what she was gonna do. Weeks go by and Gloria ends up receiving news that literally chilled her to the bone. Apparently, Peggy had broken up with the guy, and when she did so, the guy became so insane that he drove his bike right off of a bridge, unaliving himself. All because of that spell. A month later, Peggy calls her terrified, crying her heart out, begging Gloria for help. She told her that after the boy had passed away, that she continues to see him in the home, that he wakes her up at night, that she hears his voice, that he still is around at all times, that even after he passed away, he continues to be obsessed over her, even after death.
Before you do a love spell on that man, make sure you watch this video first. We're gonna call the person who submitted this story Julia. I am back with another spooky story. So like many others, Julia was scrolling through TikTok when she came across various love spells. Intrigued, she decided to try not just one, but multiple spells. A love spell, a binding spell, an obsession spell, and a third-party removal spell. The target of these spells was a co-worker named Juan, with whom Julia worked with at a warehouse. Julia says the first love spell took effect almost immediately. She noticed a change in Juan's demeanor. His eyes seemed different, and he expressed his love for her more intensely. As their relationship deepened, he decided to move in with Julia, and Julia herself agreed. Initially, everything was perfect. However, as time passed, Juan's behavior started becoming possessive. He couldn't bear to be without Julia, insisting on constant communication even during work hours. On their separate days off, Juan would wait outside for Julia. He would wait outside the workplace for hours, and that's when she realized that the obsession spell had taken hold. The third-party removal spell also appeared effective, as he wanted to be with her exclusively, moving in shortly after. No one caught Juan's eyes but Julia. Julia says his possessiveness escalated to the point where she couldn't even move or even use the bathroom without him accompanying her. And when Julia expressed that his behavior was overwhelming, he reacted violently. He pulled out a pew-pew on her. Initially, he threatened to do it to himself, but then he flipped the pew-pew on Julia, declaring that if he couldn't have Julia, then no one else could. Terrified, Julia pleaded him to stop, assuring him that she would never leave him. He made Julia promise to never leave him, and out of fear, Julia complied. Julia says despite of the danger, she stayed, and each time she would try to leave, he would threaten her with the pew-pew, reinforcing that she too was trapped. The abuse became physical. He would not only hit her, but he would often use the pew-pew as a means of intimidation. One day, while he was out, Julia came up with an escape plan. She called her mother for help, and during the call, he had unexpectedly returned. And he became immediately suspicious of her actions. You trying to leave, ho? She managed to convince him, though, that she wasn't planning anything. And eventually, he left again. And seizing the opportunity, Julia locked all the doors and waited for her mother to come. He returned once more. But this time, all the doors were locked, so he couldn't come in. He shouted threats, accusing her of trying to leave him, and he was making sure that she knew if you are trying to leave, it ain't gonna be so easy. When her mother finally arrived, she left with her mother and never looked back. She had to move out of the apartment and relocate for safety. Julia says, ironically, we worked together and he filed a restraining order against me. So he filed a restraining order against Julia, falsely claiming that she had threatened his life. When in reality, Julia says it was actually the opposite. She says she prayed to her ancestors, asking them to remove the spells that she had casted. Since then, she's continued practicing magic, but vowed never, ever, ever to do another love spell on another person. She says she learns that love spells rarely result in positive outcomes. Wow, Julia, thank you so much for submitting this story. Thank you so much for submitting the story. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, please feel free to submit it to me either on my TikTok DM or my Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram just so that I know that it's real, duh. And while you're at it, subscribe to my YouTube channel for longer, better, and spookier stories. Like I say in every single video, I love you by Abducted Humans from your favorite Haitian homegirl.
Hey bestie, what kind of snack do y'all want to do for this week? Let's do spicy snacks. So for this week, try to eat like spicy snacks only. And if you can't handle spicy, do like mild. I have a love spell story for y'all. I know how y'all love a good love spell story. And as much as I tell people to stop doing them, they still do it. And this story come from a person that did a love spell that they saw right here on TikTok. Clearly, she hadn't been following me since 2020, or she would know better. But anyway, we're going to get on with the story. Let's call this girl Tasha. So if you know a Tasha, tag her. So one day, Tasha's scrolling through her TikTok, right? She sees this specific TikTok teaching people how to do a successful love spell. And the person who posted this said that the love spell was foolproof and that the person will literally be obsessed with you. Now, Tasha halfway believes in that kind of stuff, but she also has a crush on her coworker. And I mean, like, that is her man. In her head, that is Tasha's man. Except her man does not notice her. He never speaks to her. Now, let's call this coworker Jamal. So Tasha is crushing on Jamal. Jamal is handsome. He's charming. He's funny. He's like the full package for Tasha. Except that, he doesn't know that she exists. Now, she saw a couple of these videos before, but for some reason, that specific video made her want to try it because when she looked at the comments was full of success stories. So why not? What could go wrong, right? So the spell was pretty simple. You're supposed to get a red candle, you light it, and you get some cinnamon. See, I just caught myself because I was going to say how to do it, but I'm not because I know some of y'all are still unhinged and y'all going to think it's okay to do it. But if you know which one I'm talking about because it went viral. Anyways, the next day after work, she went and she purchased the red candle. When she got home, she did the spell. What's the worst that could happen? Again, she did this halfway expecting it to work. So she does this and she goes to work the next day. Except work was different. Jamal, her man, who was always distant but polite, was speaking to her. And not only was he speaking to her, she would constantly catch him staring at her. And I'm not going to lie, she was pretty amazed. She was like, whoa, I really didn't think this thing was going to work, but I'm here for it. He started to talk to her more and more at work. He even started to text her constantly. That's so much better that Jamal started to bring her coffee to work without her asking. And Tasha loved every bit of minute of it. Now she could really be like, my man, my man, my man. Until her man started acting weird. First, it started with Jamal showing up to her apartment unannounced. His excuse was always that he just wanted to see her, and it's sweet, It raised like a little bit of eyebrow for Tasha, but it's still like, oh, he wants to see me. And then Jamal started to question her every move, like where she was, who she was with, why is she taking this long to text back. The once very handsome and charming Jamal became very obsessive. And Tasha really tried to brush it off as in, like, he's just an intense lover. You know, some people are just like that. And then it escalated. So, boom, one night, Tasha decided that she was going to go out with her friends, right? They decided that they were going to go to a bar, and that's what they did. They went, they're having fun, they're having drinks, they're having a time. As she's having fun, right, one of her friends' face completely changed. And she's like, what's wrong? And the friend is like, is that Jamal? And when she turned, it was indeed Jamal. He showed up at the bar, mad as hell, because she didn't invite him to their little get-together. Now, this is why he was mad, and this is why he showed up. But when he showed up and he realizes that one of the friends that Tasha went out with was a guy, that's when it got bad. He tried to yank her ass out of that bar. His jealousy quickly turned into aggression, and he demanded to know who the hell that guy was and why was she talking to him for that long and why is the guy here and she never told him and all of her friends ended up stepping in, including the guy that was there, her friend, and Jamal ended up having to leave. The bar kicked him out. Over the next few weeks, it got even worse, y'all. Mind y'all, this is a testimony. Jamal would blow up her phone, wait outside her apartment building, watching her every move to make sure she's not cheating. Mind y'all, they're not even in a relationship yet. It got to a point where Jamal started to threaten her and himself because he keeps saying that he doesn't know what's going on in his head. He doesn't like it, but he cannot live without her. Now, at this point, Tasha knows why this is happening. She knows what she did. She remembers that spell. Except now she doesn't really know what to do because she didn't even think this would work. And at this point, she's wishing she hadn't done that. She also ended up mentioning that after this whole situation happened, she ended up finding my page and it made sense. Everything that I was saying was everything she was experiencing. But let's backtrack to the story. This is where it got so much worse because one night, Tasha is in her apartment, right? She's sleeping. And she just woke up feeling like something was wrong. Nothing woke her up. She just felt something was wrong. And so she got up to go to the bathroom. And on her way to the bathroom, she sees a figure in her living room. Terrified, she screamed, ran back to her room, and called 911. She locked herself in there. She don't know what's going on, mind you. She's thinking she's getting robbed or somebody's breaking into her apartment, right? And so on the phone with the operator, she gives the police full permission to break down her door if they need to. When they came, it was Jamal. Jamal was in tears. Jamal keeps saying how he cannot live without her. Jamal ended up getting arrested and he got charged for breaking and entering. And he actually did end up going away for a little while because he did express very loudly how he cannot live without her and that he would rather harm himself or her than to live. Tasha ended up having to contact her employer and Jamal's family for help. And long story short, Jamal's family ended up having to move Jamal states away from Tasha. That's how she finally was able to get some kind of relief. But she says till this day, she still be scared that one day she's going to come home and Jamal traveled through states just to break into one of her apartments. Also, she did move from that apartment. And Tasha told me to tell y'all, it doesn't matter what type of love spell you see on TikTok, it's not worth it. It ain't nothing I haven't told y'all before, but I feel like maybe y'all would listen if it's somebody that went through it. He told me to tell y'all to please listen to Blizzy. She's not joking. Till this day, she's still scared for her life because she feels like any day now, Jamal's just going to pop up and take her out. So listen to me when well, matter of fact, y'all don't even got to listen to me. Go do you. I'm telling you not to do it. But if you want to do it anyway, you can become a Tasha. Anyways, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram and on YouTube. Yeah, because if they take this app away, how else are you supposed to get your snacks and listen to my stories? Exactly.